Hello and welcome to Dialogue of Civilizations. In a world characterized by multiplicity of interests, beliefs, it is perhaps understandable, albeit not wholly desirable, that tensions may arise where differences collide. Clash is perhaps inevitable, but so is cooperation. And cooperation has been at the very heart of human growth and development. There's a fine balance between clash and cooperation, and this fine balance is going to be the central subject of my conversation with my guest today. And I'm honored to welcome Ambassador Khalid Fathalrahman, Director of the Center for Civilizational Dialogue at ICESCO, to today's Dialogue of Civilization. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you, Orkhan. It's great to be with you in this interview.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor and privilege. Allow me to begin with the present moment. In this global world of ours, do you think a culture divides or unites more than it divides, actually?
Yes, absolutely true. We witness a lot of discriminations, a lot of problems worldwide, and a lot of divisions between groups, tribes. So whenever we come close to culture means culture activities, culture concepts, we become close to some solution to what is going on in the world. I think when we adopt steps towards having cultural diplomacy and cultural solutions, we become so close to having a peaceful world.
Ambassador, in practical terms, how would you define the notion which is widely referred to as civilizational dialogue? What is civilizational dialogue on the basis of your illustrious background experience?
It's a very big question, actually. But civilizational dialogue is the dialogue that related to peaceful means, to depending on civilizational elements that can bring people together, because by the end of the day we belong to one civilization. It's true that each country, each region has its own civilization, but we claim that we can, as humanity, we can come together in one civilization, a civilization which leads us to be more active towards peaceful activities, towards world expression, having one united voice towards being more active in delivering peace and social activities.
So in many ways, civilizational dialogue is a dialogue taking place within one human civilization, between different civilizations which form part of the one complete, one sort of integral, holistic human civilization. Would it be fair to say on that basis that civilizational dialogue in some ways is sort of a peaceful and civilized competition as well, and that therefore dialogue in itself, being the result of the necessity of sorting out clashes, does entail some civilized competition in itself?
Yes, actually we are talking about a concept that enrich our existence on the whole globe. Each region, each country, it has its own culture, and if we can come together with the means and visions of that culture, we can collectively having one boat, and to be on that boat is very quite inevitable. And I think division will stay, and it's still there, but we can have them in a positive way, in order to say that man is man by the end of the day.
The divisions are not to be eradicated, they're going to stay there, but we need to transform them into some positive shape, you said. Could you simply elaborate on that? Because we quite often, 20 years ago, in Europe, they used to talk about unity in diversity. And in the light of what is happening in Europe today, many European politicians from all walks of political spectrum are saying that perhaps we have reached a level when this diversity, or rather diversities, have been multiplied to the extent wherein their holistic nature is no longer there. And they quite often talk about that they're losing parent culture in Europe. What do you make of that concern?
Yeah. Actually, diversity faces a lot of problems worldwide, but it is very obvious in Europe. Last year we had a conference in Brussels organized by ICESCO and the European Academy for Research and Development about the role of freedom of speech and expression in bringing people together. And we put it very obvious that, and very notable that in Europe there is a big problem, and we rang the bell that Europe, which used to reflect on freedom of speech and freedom of expression, should be alert, should be having sort of new vision towards what is happening inside, because what we see in the whole world coming from that region telling us that there is a problem and it should be addressed in a way or another. We wouldn't like to judge Europe on that. There is quite different conditions and circumstances, but by the end of the day, if they claim that they came out and they brought the term of freedom of expression, they should be sticking to that concept in a way or another.
And I would like to move into the subject revolving around fighting, combating Islamophobia. And in Baku, the key subject, key focus of conference, which is effectively currently underway, which is currently drawing to an end, is about Islamophobia. What did underpin back 3 years ago in April, I think in March 2022, on the 15th of March, when the 15th of March was declared International Day to Combat Islamophobia, what was the significance of the timing back then, 3 years ago?
Yeah, I was there 3 years ago, and I'm now here in this third round of the conference. I think we made a huge step towards addressing the problem very clearly. Especially in these days, we rang the bell that the concept itself has to be addressed in a way or another quite clearly. And second, now we are talking about, instead of Islamophobia, we're talking about anti-Muslims policies, anti-Muslim discriminations, anti-Muslims hate, in order to find direct solution to these problems. Now we are witnessing huge developments in Europe with the rise of the far right. Now we're talking about Islamophobia industry. We mean that there are huge mobilizations of resources towards inflaming and inflating the concept of Islamophobia. So we have to have a definite strategy and some tactics to say that the far right is not only against Muslims, it's against humanity in all shapes and faces.
And when you talk about Islamophobia as a notion, do we mostly talk about phobia of religion as such, or the fear of people practicing their religion as a potential threat or existing threat when it comes to what some of those belonging to far-right political ideology believe they have to protect?
I do think that, especially in Europe and United States, the problem is not towards Islam, but towards the Muslims rather than Islam. There are a lot of people in Europe and the United States are very thirsty to know and to having sort of knowledge about Islam and Quran. 3 months ago or 4 months ago, we held a conference, international conference in the ICESCO about Quran and the West towards rational methods in dealing with Quran. And we came out with an initiative called Read It to Understand It, because we do believe that still a lot of people, millions, they have the desire to come closer to Islam and to know about it. But on the contrary, there are, on the practice, there are huge anger towards Muslims in practice. So it gives us sort of paradox in two phases. We have to say that to be positive in all ways, that must put us in front of the fact that to deal with Islam in a positive way, to introduce it in a good way, to be very tolerant in that method. And on the other side, we have to be very confident in addressing the problems and to saying that Muslims are facing huge problems in Europe and in the United States, and we should differentiate between the two ideas.
And also, Ambassador, bearing in mind that we are in Azerbaijan now, and we are conducting this interview against the backdrop of this beautiful mosque, I would like to ask you about this country in particular. What do you make of the cultural model existing here when it comes to spiritual coexistence and other related elements?
Azerbaijan is a great example of diversity, of administrating diversity in a way that could be very positive to bring a new society. And with the new developments in Azerbaijan after the liberation era, with the great leadership of President Ilham Aliyev, who has got a clear vision towards the cultural problems worldwide. And I like the speeches that are being delivered by him or by his assistants in that way. So I think Azerbaijan is going on the right track to address the problems that face the cultural movement, the cultural activities in the world. And Azerbaijan has a clear vision because the society itself enriched with this sort of diversity that can be a great model for the world. The development in the country in many fields, economically and socially also, can foster this trend and these steps towards having like sort of capacity building in the country.
Ambassador Khalid Fathalrahman, I'm so grateful to you for your time and for this very interesting conversation wherein we looked at a wide range of issues. I think that there was a discussion enveloping the subject based on two fundamental linchpins: clash, confrontation, and cooperation. I think you made it very clear that divisions are going to be there. We cannot eradicate them, but they should be molded into positive sort of form.
Very true. That is the idea, actually.
Indeed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I appreciate it.
I had a great honor and pleasure conversing with Ambassador Khalid Fathalrahman, Director of the Center for Civilizational Dialogue at ICESCO. We discussed a wide range of matters, of course. Well, indeed, divisions may arise and tensions may arise where differences are triggered. But the reality is that unity in diversity is indeed a distinct possibility. Well, see you very soon indeed.